Welcome to Nerdaties. Bitches.
No topic too absurd, no statement too asinine, no question too interesting. It's nerdy speed round. No, I'm fucking around. We don't have much time, but we want to get some time with our guest today. For our guest, though, who are we with? I'm Mike, and
I am Justin.
that is.
I'm Joe. That's Charlie, and that's Jennifer.
There you go.
There you go.
Our guest this week, Jerry Carita, writer of the Grizzly Crew. Jerry, can you tell us a little bit about the comic?
The Grizzly Crew is a book that I wrote with my son. He walked into my office one day and I was messing around. It was the day that Midjourney came out, the AI, and I was like everyone else, I opened it up and I was just like trying to figure out if it's the end of the world or not. And he walked into my office and I had a bunch of like weird images on the screen and he was like, "What's this?" And I explained it to him. He's 6 years old at the time. And then after I kind of just quickly was like, "It's a computer, it'll poop out an image if you give it some information." He was like, "Can it make a Spider-Man monkey?" And I was like, "I don't know, let's try." And he threw out a couple of random ideas. And then he goes, "How about a pirate bear?" And I'm like, "All right, pirate bear." And I put up, and it came up with this like really weird, horrible, silhouetted, like monstrous looking grizzly bear with a pirate hat on. And he's afraid of bears. So he was just staring down. And he kind of like went like deer in headlights on me. So I went back to work, like working on what I was doing. And after a few minutes, he pitched me the whole story. He just was like, "His name's Captain Grizzly, Dad." And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, great." And I'm just like ignoring him now. And he's like, he's the captain of a pirate ship, and all the pirates on the ship are bears. And I'm like, "Cool, that's fun. That sounds fun." I'm still like only half listening. And then he goes, "They go around looking for treasure. And when they find it, it's the treasure. It looks like gold, Dad, but it's not gold. It's wax. And when you squeeze it, it's filled with honey because bears like honey." And I was like, "Hold on, what?" And then
that's when my chair turned and I was like, "Keep going."
Yeah, suddenly I stopped what I was doing and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then he goes, "It's called the Grizzly Crew." And I'm like, "Shut up. Just shut up right now. Okay, stop talking." I started taking notes. And then we just like a whole bunch of random stuff. Like he was like, maybe one of the people on the boat, he came up with a whole bunch of different bears. There's a grizzly bear who's grumpy because he likes to be cold and it's always hot where pirates are. And then he was like, "There's what about a koala bear?" And I was like, "It's not, I'm a moron." So I was like, "It's not really a bear." And he's like, "Well, maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe he thinks he's really a bear and he wants to be part of the Grizzly Crew anyway." And I'm like, "Why are you better at this than I am already?"
That was going to be one of my questions. Does he take crap from the other crew members for not being an actual bear?
That's like the whole story, dude. Like he said it to me and I was like, "It's not a real bear, dummy." And he goes, "Well, maybe he doesn't know that, dummy." And I'm like, "Damn, you got me. Nailed it."
Great writer's room, man.
Great. Yeah, really. 6 years old. I wanted to murder him. Anyway, so instead of killing him and taking the idea, we wrote it together and I gave him the credit.
That's awesome.
It's beautiful because not all three of us, myself and Justin, are cousins, and we have a comic book with one of our other cousins. So the family dynamic, not exactly the same.
Well,
we're kind of on the same footing.
I've known Joe for like 38 years.
Yeah, for a long time.
Like the two of us and our cousin trying to work on stuff together, we're kind of on the same footing. Do you write with him? Do you like go into dialogue with him, or you just get a plot and be like, "All right, I'll handle this"?
No, we bounce through the plot, and then he moves faster than comic book publishing can. So he's got like a monster idea for like the fourth arc already, like this sea monster thing that makes the villain and the good pirates have to work together. Like he's got a whole thing worked out. So we just talked through the general idea, and then I've been like turning it into an arc. I'll show it to him though. I showed him character designs early on. He gave notes to the artist.
That's beautiful.
That's cool.
Like the little koala bear came back with like a normal paw, and he's like, "No, koalas have two thumbs." And I was like, "What?" And I looked it up.
Quality control.
I know. I looked it up, and I'm like, "Koalas have two thumbs." He goes, "It's very important, Dad, and his feet should look like hands." Because his whole thing is that they eventually are going to like him because he can climb up into the thing on top of the boat, the crow's nest.
Everybody has
he didn't know that. He said the thing. He can climb up to the thing, so they're going to like him. He's already got the thing that makes like the Rudolph, the nose lighting the way on the cloudy. Like he's already got that worked out. You know what I mean? It's the little freaky thing with the paw feet, and that's going to make them love the koala and make him part of the grizzly crew. He's got the whole thing worked out.
That's the difference with kids. Stuff like that is important, and another kid would notice it. There's another kid who obsesses about koalas out there.
Yeah. He was like, I was like, "Two thumbs. What does it matter?" He goes, "It's very important." I'm like, "Fine, whatever." And then so little Jimmy the koala bear has two thumbs.
Such a bouncy all ages story. It makes me think animation, obviously. And we were looking through your biography there, not biography, your filmography. That's the word I should have said. And animation isn't one of the things that was listed. Was it always been a goal for you?
You know, I think like I've worked mostly in reality TV, and so like a lot of the stories that I always wanted to tell, it was a career that found me that I didn't really go looking for. I got into TV and production and stuff because I like scripted, episodic storytelling. And so finding my way into comics later actually was kind of a normal, because it's like issue based. It felt very similar to TV, the kind of TV storytelling I grew up loving. So I've never worked on an animated series. I've worked on shows that had like little animations, like here's how roller coasters work and things like that.
Yeah.
But
totally different thing.
Yeah, totally insane, like very different. So I've never really done an animated thing, and honestly, a lot of most of the comics I've worked on, a lot of the other ones I've conceived that I've been writing and working on, I like that they don't necessarily lend themselves immediately to an animated idea, but for sure, like the Grizzly Crew, even the character designs and like the alternate covers that we had on the first issue and stuff like that, it looks like gummy bears. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, Yeah. So I totally get. I think people see that and go, "Oh, he's writing a cartoon," and I wasn't trying to, but if somebody wanted to make it a cartoon, I wouldn't be like, "No." It certainly is the only thing I'm working on that really lends itself to an easy translation. You know what I mean? Adaptation.
That makes sense. One of the things you referenced in the material we read was Jim Henson movies, and they did something that you don't really see a lot nowadays, some kind of scary, serious moment at an age you might not be ready for it. Like it might just be a little above your pay grade. Is there anything like that in there?
I mean, the first couple of pages are that. The first story, starts in, I mean, for lack of a better explanation, the real world, like where it's all people, all humans. There are no anthropomorphic animals. And as far as we know, and it's a town that's being attacked by pirates, actually scary, terrifying, in the middle of the night, burning the village down kind of pirates. And so we drew them intentionally like scary. It was meant to be a little bit scary for kids. And then the idea is, and I think this is what my son was kind of doing. He's scared of bears. He's afraid of bears. So he was making up this whole story about a bear crew of people who like protect you. He made it something he was afraid of into something that protects you. So we wanted the pirates to be actually evil seeming, so that the bears would be unnecessary evil. When the bears are scary, they're doing it for good. But there are definitely moments like that. Like, little Jimmy the koala is an orphan. We're going to flash back and see what happened to his family and kind of the origin story tragedy thing that set him on his path and made him want to be a good pirate fighting bad pirates in the first place.
Okay, so on a tragedy level, where would that compare to Land Before Time? Is it somewhere around there, or Never-Ending Story?
Wow, you know what? Those are you went right to the top shelf for both, because those are both like the end of a universe kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the end of Jimmy's universe, I guess. I
that
think
level of trauma?
I think more like Labyrinth. Like there are moments in Labyrinth that are playfully scary and goofy, and then there are moments when it's like they're in a dungeon in a tunnel and they're just hands grabbing at you and they're creepy. But then there are moments when they're in like a sewer and there's just a giant thing trying to kill them with blades and knives shooting out of it, and that can be really scary for a kid. So I think that's probably the level where I'm at. I don't know if it's like, oh, there's an asteroid coming and you and all of your family are definitely going to die, Land Before Timey kind of stuff.
Well, that one, the one that really hit a lot of us, I think the one that really hit me the most is like early on when he loses his mother. It's the Bambi moment, but it's a little more poignant, I think, because in Bambi, it's off camera. It's, right. Oh, that happened. Let's deal with it. It's like, he lays there with his dead mother. You really got to be in that moment with that kind of trauma that I'm not saying kids nowadays need to have, but it's one of those formative things.
Yeah. The Lion King is a really messed up one when you think about it. Like
it is.
Simba doesn't even see it happen. It's not for his benefit. It's just the audience that like, that, and eventually he learns it, but like just watching Scar murder his brother. Like, oh shit.
Every decade has one. Every generation has to have one thing that just jars your brain open and shatters it.
I mean, we and our kids have Terrifier apparently.
No.
I've watched one scene from that, and it's the one where with a hacksaw and a girl upside down. I'm like, bro, this is horror now. This is horror. I gotta tap out. Sorry, sir.
Nope. I love horror movies.
I'm out.
Yeah, I know. My son wanted. He's 13. The older one is 13, and I don't know why I did this. I let him go see the movie with a friend of his, and like he came out of it and he was a man when he left that theater.
Okay, yeah.
And he wasn't the kind of man I thought I was raising either. Like that movie changed him, you know? Also, I was like, why would you want to go see the third one? You haven't seen the first two.
That like, you know of?
Bad. I'm like, fine. No, he definitely hasn't.
Okay. And he was in there asking a bunch of questions about the plot, and they're just like, it's just slasher movie. Shut up.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job of telling the story in the third one.
In Terrifier?
Yeah.
See, I haven't even seen it. I've just been hearing about it, and then my son came out of it and was like, Dad, there's this one scene where you could see this guy's testicles and then they basically explode. I'm like, I don't know why I let you go see this movie. Why did I do this?
Yeah.
Are you telling me about someone else's testicles?
It's like he got the budget for this third one. And same thing that happened with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey too. We're just like, oh, we can tell a better story.
Yeah. But, he used to do all the makeup in the first two, the director.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this one he had a budget. He could actually hire someone to do the makeup. He used to do all the makeup too in the first two. I was reading a lot about it after he came out of the movie.
Just some serious due diligence.
To Terrifier. What is this? What kind of podcast are you guys running here?
Foreshadowing.
A lot of everything.
Yeah.
Technically above board.
Jerry, how many issues do you see the Grizzly crew going?
So I'm going to do at least 5. Okay. I'm going to do 5. I have a 5-issue first arc sort of planned out. That to me is like a kind of a standard-y size. It's like, the first one we're doing 22 pages, but I think we're going to do a little longer for each one. So like a 5-issue trade paperback would be like 120 to 130 pages, something like that. I do the same thing for another book I'm writing, Cicada Samurai. The one that's live now on Kickstarter is actually an anthology project that I haven't written anything for. I'm the editor and publisher. It's called Scott Snyder Presents The Cloakroom. Yeah.
Look at these names being dropped.
I mean, I could keep going. It's
I was in the bar with De Niro the other day, and he says to me, Al doesn't want to do it. I want to do it, so I'll talk him into it. Anyway.
That's a pretty good impression. That was solid. I like that.
But I could do the Pacino now. I'm working on that. That's a tricky one. You gotta go down and really step on your voice. Yeah.
That's really good. That's really, really good. That's impressive.
I gotta do my Tony Soprano. Just come back from that. Because he's all the way up here. You gotta do a Tony Soprano off the top of your face. The outside of your nose. You're really not saying words completely.
That's pretty good. I didn't know do we do this on the show a lot? Are we doing?
Oh yeah.
Well, we've been doing stories, like redoing stories. This year's, I'll do a little plug on the show that we don't usually plug stuff on.
Our Christmas.
A version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the Nerdaties style.
Oh, I love that.
Foul-mouthed and nonsensical.
That's great. I love it.
So we've been doing the show for like 12 years. And for the longest time, I was like, guys, we should do radio plays. I'm like, because I love all these scripted podcasts. Like, it's amazing. That and audiobooks, just like,
right.
With working and stuff. And if I'm typing away on something. So it's just, it's easier to get through that kind of stuff. I need some kind of like background noise when I work. Because otherwise, I'm left to my own thoughts. It drives me nuts. So finally, they were like, fine. And the first one we did was, we did our version of a
Christmas Story?
No. We did Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Christmas Carol. I was thinking a Christmas Carol and I said a Christmas Story.
We'll get to that one.
So fried.
And everybody had a good time. So then last year we wrote our own Hallmark Christmas movie, and that was great. And then we're like, let's just go through the entire Christmas catalog.
Yeah, so we're gonna abuse it all, every last one of them.
So this year is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's awesome.
We got to
awesome.
get a saw blade for thunder. We got to get coconuts. We need all of it. We're gonna need some like lettuce in case somebody's bones need to be broken. Total radio play. We're running short on time, aren't we?
Haven't gotten the 5-minute warning yet.
Well, I definitely want to make sure we get your socials out, get everything we want to out.
Yeah.
Folks.
So we'll do that now, and then we can talk about whatever you want. So the book is the one that's on Kickstarter right now is an anthology series. We're on issue 3. We're doing a holiday issue. Every issue is filled with stories that are created by people who are in Scott Snyder's writing workshop class. A group of people started doing this anthology as like a larger project years ago. I took it up this year with a partner of mine, Veronica Howell, and we do an issue every like 3 months. And so it's 6 or 7 or 8 short stories, short comic stories from people in the class. We edit, we publish, we work with the writers to make the best version of their show. It's like a different skill set. It's a different part of my brain I get to exercise as opposed to writing things myself. It's incredibly rewarding. It's a lot of fun. I'm like super proud of the actual product always. We've made no money. We're always out of pocket, but it's worth every minute, and I'll do it until Scott tells me I can't use his name anymore. So it's on Kickstarter now. It will be until November 27th or something like that, like right before Thanksgiving. And then it's my publishing company is called Thorny Comics, so you can find me on Instagram or Facebook as Thorny Comics. And I try to push everyone towards my Substack because that's where I kind of collect all my shit. So jerrycarita.substack.com.
So the Scott Snyder anthology is a comic, right? There is graphics with the story. Do you get to pick an artist? Do you have like a list of artists to pull from, or is there someone working on all of it?
So that's the idea. So the workshop is just for writers mostly. A lot of people in the group are artists and people that just like to hear Scott talk about the process.
Okay.
But he'll teach a class on something like mystery writing. And then there are a lot of people who are just absorbing it and not really using the information. But there's a lot of people in the class who take it and apply it to their actual craft. And so they're trying to write a better mystery story, write a superhero story, write a horror story or a funny thing or whatever. And they'll take what they learn in the class, they'll apply it. Some people get to like turn a script into Scott. It's all the writing process. Scott doesn't really get involved in the finding you an artist and doing all that. So that's what we do. So we figured that it sort of is set up like a class. It doesn't have like a dissertation turning in your final project like PhD things. So that's kind of how we function. So if you're in the class and you have a story and you've already got an artist you want to work with, great. We'll help you find a letterer. We'll help you like work through how to work with the artist and make it better. We'll work through how to, little things like the nuances of writing for comics so that you have good page turn moments and stuff like that. So as editors, we'll work on that with you. If you don't have an artist, if all you have is a paragraph of like, here's my idea and we like it and we want to work with you on it, we'll take that on too. We'll help you find an artist. We'll help you find all the other people you need to make it happen, pair you up, make sure you're happy with it. And that's it. So we eventually have like between a 50 and 60 page anthology issue with 7 or 8 stories in it, each one all comics, all different writers, all different artists, all different styles, all different genres. The only organizing principle really is that everyone's in Scott's class, is that all the writers anyway are in Scott's class. The artists are from people I've worked with, people Veronica's worked with, people we find just around, like people we just find on the internet and stuff.
That sounds like a really productive communal kind of workspace.
It's a lot of fun, and we've managed to so far be pretty consistent. We do one every 3 or 4 months. We're on issue 3. Issue 4 is already planned for the most part. I think we'll get at least a 5 and a 6 before we start to run out of people in the class who have actual ideas that they want to produce. But yeah, it's been going really well so far. We've done 3 on Kickstarter. We've raised, I think, like 14 or 15,000 bucks so far across all 3 projects. This one's live now. I think we're like 60 something % of the way to our goal. We have 3 weeks left, so I think we'll get there. It's a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun. And yeah, I hope, like I said, I hope to keep doing it until Scott tells me I can't.
Well, hope you can get the word out for you.
Thank you.
One last question. Having worked with Kevin Smith, what are the odds he'd come on our show, and are you the person we should be talking about?
I mean, I can ask him. Usually when I ask him things like that, he just pretends he didn't get the text.
All right. Smart man. I imagine he gets
No.
it around. But he does go on a fair amount of
You know what's funny is that the opposite is actually true. He's like the most answer your text, like he's the guy who sits at the end of a panel and will just spend 5 hours just talking to every person who's in the room if they want to keep talking. But I can pass along.
He is the man.
He's the reason we do it.
Yeah,
Podcast.
we saw him at New York Comic Con many years ago, and yeah, he's just like, oh, just sit around a microphone with your friends and just talk about nerd stuff.
His words of wisdom: just do it. Don't say you're going to do a thing. Just do it. And that's
Do you happen to remember what year you were there?
2012, right?
The first year for Comic Book Men.
Yeah.
So the first season of Comic Book Man. Okay, so a few years later, so I did the first season of Comic Book Man, and I did another show called Geeking Out. We were at New York Comic Con a few years later because we were shooting like a pitch tape for that show, and it was Scott and I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. He's drawing Wolverine now. Anyway, Scott was doing the New 52 at the time, and Greg Capullo. I don't know how I forgot Greg Capullo.
Okay.
Yeah. So Scott and Greg Capullo were doing the New 52. It was like a new hit, and they were on the other side of the convention. And I was with Kevin, and we wanted to film Kevin interviewing Scott and Greg for the tape, right? But New York Comic Con, unlike every other probably Comic Con and every other, maybe just the Javits Center in New York, they don't have like a system of like underground tunnels and secret back ways. So if you get from over here to over there at New York Comic Con, you basically have to walk through the floor.
You got to fight the tide.
That's it. And Kevin is like one of a handful of people who just can't.
He's a geek magnet.
You don't necessarily think I know him and I've worked with him a bunch and I've seen it, but even I was like, this might be okay. But I told him, I'm like, we could just skip it. Don't worry about it. He goes, no, man, let's do it. And we walked through the floor, and he walks very quickly, and a ton of people, you could see people thinking first, is that someone cosplaying as Silent Bob? Holy shit, no, that's Kevin Smith. And then running along next to him, and he took a picture with every single one of them while walking. And he told everyone, I'll talk to you as long as it takes me to get over to Scott Snyder, dude. Let's go. Keep going. Keep moving. He was smiling and doing the thing with the face and all that. He did all that like as he walked. And I was like, I love this guy. He just kept moving, got through. It was great.
He definitely cares. Well, yeah, I think we're about to get digitally kicked out of the room. Jerry Santia, Sarita, my eyes don't work with Jerry Sarita. Thank you for your time. Nerdies, whatever.com.
They know our shit.
Yeah, they know us.
Yeah.
I might be able to get the words out. Who knows? Fuck bye. That's what usually ends the show. Bye. I didn't curse much this show. I think it was because the subject matter was a little younger. And I saw kids